Hi, and welcome back to The Piece of Persistence. I'm your host, Abigail Wright. Last week we began a 5-part series on the 5 ways to well-being, which are 5 ways that you can take control of your life and make yourself a happier, healthier, more thriving and successful person. We started by talking about connection, which is the first of the 5 ways of well-being, to connect with people around you and plug into your community to make yourself a little happier. Today I'd like to talk with you about being active, which is the second of the 5 ways to well-being. I'm just going to give you a few tips, no matter where you are, that you can be a little bit more active in your life. Number 1, and most importantly, choose something you like or you think you'll like. Choose something fun so that you'll stick to it. There's nothing worse than trying to force yourself to do something that you hate all the time. That's not going to make you happier. Number 2, is there anything you might like to try? Is there anything that you were curious about when you were a child or maybe in your early adult years that you just haven't had a chance to try? Give yourself the permission to be curious about life and try something new. You're never too young and you're never too old to give it a try. So the other day I actually met somebody who was in his mid-80s who had just started to learn how to swim. He had private swimming lessons and he was so excited about how interesting it is and how different it is to try to coordinate the breaths with the strokes and how meditative that can be. And I thought, you know, I learned how to do this when I was 7 on the swim team, and here is this 85-year-old man learning how to swim. Take his challenge upon you and see if there's something you might want to learn. Did you ever want to tango? Did you ever want to take a martial art or trapeze or learn how to figure skate? Obviously, it all depends on your own interests and the physical ability at which you're starting, but give yourself permission to get curious and try something new. Number 3, know thyself. Do you work well with others or do you work better by yourself? Are you somebody who would prefer running on the beach by yourself, or are you somebody who would prefer taking a Zumba class? If you'd like to be by yourself, running is an excellent sport. Personally, I was a big fan of running with books, so I actually used these 2 books to train for my marathon. The first one was the Non-Runner's Marathon book. Love this book. And the other one is Chi Marathon, which I think is really, really great for technique. I personally loved being alone with my thoughts and meditating as I ran down the Hudson River. It was the most wonderful thing for me. Swimming can also be a very fantastic meditative kind of alone practiced sport. If you're more of a small group kind of person, you can do anything with a group of friends or with your loved ones. You could make it a date or a double date or just go have some fun. Go bowling, go play pool, ping pong, tennis, golfing, really anything you want. A whole group of friends of mine and I went to do a high-flying movie stunt class once. Again, just have fun, know yourself, and enjoy the time that you're being active. If you're having a hard time becoming or staying motivated, I cannot blame you a bit. To be honest, this was one of the hardest videos for me to convince myself to film because here I am, post-hip surgery, talking about how to be active. And I'm still healing, so it's difficult for me. But there are little ways that I can challenge myself to push myself to be that much more active every single day so that I'm getting above 0. And I can do my physical therapy, I can work out on a stationary bike. I finally can walk to my gym, so I can use their stationary bikes there. I can use the stairs a little bit, and I can do my physical therapy in a pool, which thankfully my friend invited me over to do this week. If you've been inactive for a while, if you're feeling unmotivated, if you're feeling tired and like you have no energy to do it, just a little bit of physical exercise will get you more motivated, and if you do a little bit more than 0 every day, you're just gonna start climbing up the ladder to good health. And if you do it 30 days in a row, it becomes a habit, and eventually you get to the point where you miss it and you don't want to live without it. So take the stairs today, go for a walk, find a way to do something incredibly fun and make activity a regular part of your life. Yeah, I'm doing a little dance, but mostly because I'm just so grateful that you decided to join me again on the Piece of Persistence. I'm so happy to have you here for part 2 of our 5-parter on the 5 ways to well-being. Next week, we're gonna talk about taking notice. And again, don't forget to subscribe so that you can have that delivered directly to your inbox. And if you have any great tips on how to stay active, I hope that you'll leave them in the comments. Or if you'd like to just let us know how you like today's episode, really appreciate that. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you in 2 Fridays on the Piece of Persistence.